Oh, wow. That's quick. So I'm drinking coffee. It's black coffee. I don't want to like turn it and spill it. I'm almost done with it. And then I am going to do probably about 30 minutes of some just good old cardio in my new home gym. So it's snowing right now. I usually try to go to the gym a little bit later in the day. So if it's not too bad with the weather, I will drive around the corner to my gym and do my workout. If not, I will be enjoying it in my home gym. So happy New Year's, everyone. Awesome morning. It's Wednesday. I'm back. I'm back to my live chats or my live question and answers or live tips or whatever you want to call it. Hey, everybody. So, again, just reiterating on Wednesdays at 10 a.m. and a new time on Wednesdays at 10 p.m. Both are Eastern Standard Time because I stay in good old Michigan, Detroit, Michigan, and stupid snow. I'm looking at the snow out the window, so it's annoying me. So, good morning, good morning. So, I'm back. It's the New Year's. We're 2018. There's a lot of goals that I have set for myself since my entire life is being readjusted. I'm going to talk about some points for the first maybe 10 to 15 minutes on how you can get started, and then I can open it up to questions and answers. No, no big deal. But I do have a lot of goals that are that I'm trying to accomplish this year, and it seems like I'm trying to rush and do it now because I have been all of last year just researching and seeing how I want to go about it and plan it. And so it's time to stop planning because I'm done planning. It's time to start doing. So this video is about getting started, or this live video, hello, it's about starting over again, or not necessarily starting over again, but just how to get started. For some of you, you've started and stopped because of the holidays, which is understandable. You're not alone. Happens to me. Although my regimen is kind of stuck to me because I'm kind of obsessive compulsive when it comes to certain habits. But that doesn't mean that I haven't enjoyed certain foods and things like that. So it's understandable that you feel like you are restarting again. So truth be told, I'm doing the exact same thing. I'm starting over again. Not necessarily to lose weight, but thinking about new competitions that I want to get involved in. So that requires me having to get back into a more regimented situation when it comes to my diet, training, and stress management since my life is changing. So there's 3 getting started tips that I want to talk about. And they refer to diet, training, and stress management because those are the 3 most important things when we're talking about overall quality of life. And number 1, diet. Diet should be simple. Sometimes we overthink diet. I am aware that there are several different types of diet styles out there. There's intermittent fasting, there's carb cycling, there's ketogenic diet, which that seems to be the most popular right now on YouTube because of so much, so much success with that type of diet because people are looking at the scale numbers more so than anything. And it does help you lose weight, but that doesn't necessarily work for everybody. Me. Ketogenic doesn't necessarily work for me. But it works best when I'm closer to a competition from experience. But there's so many different diet styles. There's intermittent fasting, which doesn't have anything to do with what you're eating. It has everything to do with when you're eating. But what I want to talk about as far as a tip is you want to pay more attention to the quality of your food rather than how you're eating it and when you're eating it. So the simplest way to do this if you're getting started or getting started all over again is focus on 3 most important macronutrients: protein, If you're vegan or vegetarian, you're going to have to find some type of protein substitute because you don't eat meat. So that's understandable. But that's one macronutrient that you need. The second you need is carbohydrates. And what I mean by carbohydrates, you need the right carbs, not the wrong carbs. Everything else man-made is bad carbs, period. Fruits, vegetables, potatoes, quinoa, for some people, oatmeal, whether it be steel cut or regular oatmeal. Avoid the packaged ones that have crap that's in it. Those are your good carbohydrates. Notice that I'm keeping it very simple for you. And your last is fats. Fats can be what you eat or what you cook with. You have oils. There's coconut. There's extra virgin olive oil. I think those are the really only two that I really cook with. But yeah, those, if you cook your vegetables or saute your vegetables in just a little bit of oil, cook certain foods like your chicken in coconut oil or olive oil, or your fish in those oils, you're adding the fats in. There's walnuts, all kinds of nuts for that matter. Then the ones that you eat most likely is like peanut butter and avocados. So tip number one, when it comes to your diet, keep it simple and make sure you have 3 of those things in one meal. Doesn't matter how many meals you have in a day. No, some people have to do 6. Some people are good with just 1. When you're doing 1 meal a day, that means you're going to need to have a good volume because you don't want to undereat, but you also don't want to overeat as well. So don't think too much about dieting in the sense of all of these different diet styles. Think more about the quality of what you're eating as opposed to when and how you're eating. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. If not, I have tons of plans, and they're all based on those different diet styles, but the major focus is making sure those most important parts of your macronutrients is in each meal. If you're ketogenic diet, more than likely the carbohydrates is more vegetables than anything. It's still included in the diet. It's still included in the meal, but it's not high on carbs that create more energy in a sense like your starchy carbs. That's probably what I want to say. So it's a low carb based diet, but you still have your proteins, you still have your fibrous carbs, which is what your vegetables are, and you have your fats, and it's higher on the fat aspect of it. So on my website, I have programs for that. So whichever one fits your diet style, just notice that my focus in each one of those programs was based on the quality of your foods. And I fit it according to the diet style, whether it be carb cycling, low carb, or and high fat, or high carb, or whatever it may be, and they're specific to those. Even with intermittent fasting, which is based on eating in a time window. So that's the start. Start with your diet first. They tell you abs are made in the kitchen. I remember hearing that before, and I'm like, that's a bunch of crap. But it's not. From experience, it's not a bunch of crap. So yeah. Abs are made in the kitchen, but don't focus on abs. Focus on the quality of the food that you're eating, because it's all about health. Your weight loss, your quality of life will follow with that. So don't let these doctors tell you that you shouldn't be eating good food, that you should just medicate yourself. So keep that in mind. Quality of your food as opposed to how and when you eat. 2, training. And I think I'm going to do another video on this, on what's the best. It's cardio versus weightlifting. Which one is better? Should there be a balance? Should there be more of one or the other? But in this case, if you're getting started, you're just getting started, or if you're starting all over again, my recommendation, and this is just based on my opinion, my experience, is high intensity interval training, HIIT training. Preferably with weights. However, not everybody has the luxury of having weights in their home, or heavier enough weights, or feel comfortable doing any kind of high intensity interval training in a gym if you have a gym membership. Some people don't like the idea of other people watching them, or it just kind of, you know, some of us are self-conscious, and I definitely understand that. I am not one of them, but I have experienced that in the beginning of my weight loss journey, which is why when I started my weight loss journey, I focused on my diet, and my training was mostly done at home because I did not have a gym membership. And not that I was necessarily intimidated by going to the gym, because I mean, I come from a family of gym goers anyway and bodybuilders, but just at the weight that I was at, I was just a little uncomfortable, and I'm gonna just be real with it. I was uncomfortable, and so it was easier for me to do it at home. Although, freaking pole dance competitor and instructor, but the type of high intensity interval training that I'm talking about requires short period of time and really high intensity work. Shorter period of time, really good work. Hi. So really, really, really good work. And what I mean in your intensity, it should be the highest that you are capable of doing. Not everybody's intensity level is the same. I would say somewhere between 70 to 80% of your max effort. You know what that is. If you are tired by the time you finish whatever that interval time is, whether it's 20 seconds, you're on the right track. But you got to keep it going. So high intensity interval training is best because it does two things. It helps you lose fat percentage, body fat percentage. That is one of the most important things, because it is a part of cardio. And when we're talking about intervals, you're talking about high points of work and rest. So you're strengthening your cardiovascular system. You're strengthening your heart, and you're burning fat. Like, that's easy. And you don't have to worry about being on a treadmill or any kind of machine or anything and being on it for hours just to burn fat. It does also help you continue to burn fat 48 to 72 hours after the workout. So high intensity interval training is one of the best. The second reason why it's good, because it builds muscle. You do want to do some form of weight training, but I'm talking about us just getting started or starting all over again. High intensity interval training without weights and just using body weight is a great way to build muscle, because you need to be familiar with the compound movements like squats and deadlifts and press. These things can be done in an interval training style if you go to the gym. But if you're at home, Happy New Year's. Things like jump squats, push-ups, pull-ups, if you have a pull-up bar. These are compound movements. They pull all of the muscles together, like all of your upper body for your pull-ups and your push-ups, your squats, the jumping. That's all of your legs, your calves, your quads, your glutes, your hamstrings. It will build muscle. So high-intensity interval training is awesome. Focus on that 3 times a week. That's just to get started. Keep it simple. Everybody has busy lives. Find at least 20 to 30 minutes of time to get that work in. And you only have a short period of time. I do have those programs on my website as well. They're specifically high intensity. I also have weightlifting programs on there as well. So, and I'm working on more, because I know for some of you, you can care less about cardio. You'd rather, do some heavy weightlifting and probably do about 10 or 20 minutes of, some light cardio at the end. So it's different. But I'm talking about starting over, or for beginners, or just starting over. High intensity interval training, you can do it at home without nobody bothering you. You can look like a crazy fool going to the most intensity that you can and get it done. So make sure that your high intensity interval training is quality. And when I mean quality, work. Put the work in. Don't half, what I want to say. Don't half it. Put the work in. If it's 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off, on them 20 seconds on, you need to be working your hardest. Feel the muscles moving, get that heart rate up, and then at 10 seconds, recover enough so that you can start it all over again and keep repeating that, depending on what the program is. So that is second thing. Third thing, stress management. I'm going to read something that Happy New Year's. Happy New Year's to everybody. I'm going to read something about stress management. And those of you who are not familiar, I'm a Bible reader. So reading the Bible is really important. There are scriptures, and we're taking religion aside from it. We're just looking at the Bible in the sense of it's a guide for us to have a better quality of life. So there's a scripture that I read called Proverbs. It's Proverbs 22, chapter 22, verse 3. And it says, the shrewd one sees the danger and conceals himself, but the inexperienced keeps right on going and suffers the consequences. When you read that scripture, and I'll put a link down below after this video, finish going live and everything, because I make sure that these are all archived on YouTube. But I'll put a link to the article that talks about harnessing your habits. And that's one of the things about stress management, is that we have habits that are just putting us in danger, and it's not allowing us to reach our goals or see the results that we want to see, because our habits are not in line. And the reason why our habits are not in line, because we don't plan. We plan to fail when we don't plan at all. And even when you do plan, you plan to fail if you don't even follow the plan that you created in the first place. So when we're talking about stress management, it's harnessing your habits. Plan to succeed, and don't just plan it. Do the freaking plan. Do it. Don't have an excuse for it. Don't have an excuse for it. So the easiest way I can say to get started with the stress management aspect of it, I use technology because that's just me, but I do have notebooks. And notebooks, you should write down exactly what are your excuses. You have to be very real with yourself and write down the biggest excuse that you can think of why you won't do something. I'll give you an example. One of my biggest excuses is snow. I hate snow. I don't know why I still live in Michigan, but my life is here. And so I'll be here until I make some adjustments. And that's what 2018 is for. I might be moving somewhere soon. I don't know yet. But I have to, this is where I live. I hate snow, which means I have to drive in snow. I have to clean the snow off my car. I mean, I have a lot of excuses of why I don't have to go to the gym, because it's too cold. I don't want to go. So what did I plan to do? You guys seen the video. I said I'll just make a gym in my home. I have no excuse now, because before, when I didn't have a gym membership, I worked out at home. And because at the time I had a family, the kids were in school, my husband was at work, so I worked out at home in the morning. Didn't really like working out in the morning. Well, yeah, I kind of did. But that was the best time and the only time. I could have used any excuse. Like, I don't have time for myself because either my husband is still home because he's not working that day, or the kids are at home, because I could have used any excuse, but you have to put the excuses away. And the only way you can do that is write them down and then write a plan so you can just get rid of that excuse. So you want to make it harder for you to do the wrong things and easy for you to do the right things. That's with anything. So if you want to make it easier for you to see the results, you need to plan the first two things I mentioned. Plan your diet well. If you're not sure exactly how to eat or when you want to eat, you can check out my website. I have tons of plans there. 2, your training. Try high intensity interval training, short period of time, because a lot of us don't have a lot of time. It helps you lose body fat and it helps you build muscle, and fairly quickly. But you got to put the work in. So plan it 3 times a week. That's all you have to do. And that will help you with your stress management. If you plan your life out, it'll help. So those are my tips. Is it 15 minutes? Try it. Yep, close. Good. About 20 minutes in. So I got 10 minutes to answer questions or any concerns or anything like that. I'll make sure the link for the scripture, and like it actually gives you principles and things that you can do to kind of harness your habits, and that helps with stress management. We're talking about stress management. That means you have to organize, plan your life. And I can't say unfortunately, but I'm saying it because that's the only word I can think of. But I'm obsessive compulsive organizer. I'm an obsessive compulsive like planner. And sometimes I don't necessarily plan, I just do. And if it works, I keep it up. If it doesn't work, then I stop it and move on to the next. But I have to write things down, and a lot of times I do it on my phone. So that's how it works for me. So I noticed someone mentioned that you're welcome. You're welcome. So I noticed someone had mentioned in the comments about the hardest part of the weight loss journey is seeing the results. Uh, how do I answer that? I see you guys respond. If you're not seeing the results, I've done a video on this before. Pictures help. I have a 21-day challenge that's coming up. It starts January the 8th. That's for a chance for you to win $100. If you are the winner and you're watching this video, congratulations. I know we've already taken care of that weeks ago, but congratulations. But they didn't want to. Don't say anything. They didn't want to. They didn't want me to post their pictures. But in this case, I gotta post pictures so people can actually see that it's working. But the 21-day challenge in this case is a detox challenge. It's kind of like a starting all over again. So it's really cleaning up your diet, cleaning your digestive system in a sense, or resetting your digestive system, which is your metabolism, and getting into high intensity interval training for you to help burn some excess fat, water weight, and excess fat off of your body, and build some muscle at the same time. And when I mean build muscle, I mean build strength, because a lot of times we're just weak. Okay, I'll talk about intermittent fasting. So with the 21-day challenge, it starts January the 8th. You have a chance to win $100. You can sign up on my website. It's $25 to sign in. And I have December and January's 21-day detox programs with that challenge. You can choose from the six meal programs, and they have so many options. And there's 3 workout programs, and they're all high intensity interval training. You just get to choose which one works for you. And with that being said, if you're not interested in the challenge, but you do want to see you do want to work with the programs, I sell those separately as well. So you can just go to my website, shop, and the programs are all cluttered together, and you can choose which ones you want. So the question that was asked to me was about intermittent fasting and how do I feel about it and do I practice it? Everybody practices some form of intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting has everything to do with the timing of your eating and your fasting window. Timing means when you eat all of your meals within a certain period of time, and then your fasting time, you don't eat anything, you don't take in any energy, and that includes your sleep time. So most of us should be getting about 7 to 8 hours of sleep, so that's already added in there. And the most common intermittent fasting eating window happens to be I think it's the 8-16. So 8 hours of window of time that you are consuming meals, whether it's every 2 or 3 hours, and 16 hours of not taking in anything but probably just water and tea or coffee. So that's what intermittent fasting is. Do I follow it? Yes. I may wake up a little bit earlier, like today I woke up at 8 o'clock, went through, I read my Bible in the morning, so I try to do that as often as I can. And that's what I did, got myself together, try to figure out what I was going to be doing after I do this, because I already knew what I was going to talk about with you guys. And I haven't eaten anything yet, and sometimes I may not eat until 12, sometimes I might not eat until 2 or 4. So I push my breakfast, I don't know, somebody say I pronounce it so funny, But I say meals, first meals, because there's breakfast, lunch, dinner. It's a United States or American thing that people say, or maybe it's just a Western culture thing where we say breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and we put it in its particular spot. 12 o'clock is usually lunch for most people because we have an 8 to 5 job or something like that. But there's also people out there who work midnights, so their breakfast is at a different time. But I may push my first meal back a couple of hours from my wake up time. So by that time, it's probably about 16 hours. I stop eating most of the time around 8 or 9 o'clock. So that lets you know, and because I'm trying to go to bed by 12 and I don't like to eat about an hour or two before I go to bed, which I usually go to bed around midnight. And as you can tell, I get up at 8. There's my, there's my 8 hours of sleep. So it's habitual for me. There are moments where it's not like that. I go to bed at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning because I'm up working or I can't sleep. And that happened to me kind of like last night because of stupid female problems. But it keeps me up. So that's what it does. But I try to keep that regimen down. So my feelings on intermittent fasting is if it works for you and your lifestyle, do it. If it doesn't work for you and your lifestyle, don't focus on that. Focus on what you're eating as opposed to when you're eating. I want to say that there is the science behind the whole, what to eat after a workout or before a workout. And yeah, all of that stuff. Yeah, okay. But just focus on making sure you have protein, good carbs, and fats in every meal. When you eat it does not matter. So that's how I feel about intermittent fasting. It does work. It works for whoever wants to use it. It's based on your timing. If you want to stop eating at 6 o'clock in the evening, go for it. I hope you're going to bed at 8 o'clock because 6 o'clock, it just seems like it depends on the person. But yes, I do kind of, on certain days, I do intermittent fasting. I have not quite done the 24-hour one yet. There are some that are longer where you're fasted for 18 or 20 hours and you only eat one meal. I don't see anything wrong with that. If it works for you, it works for you. For me, intermittent fasting for me is kind of play around by days. It depends on when I'm working out, if I'm not working out, how I feel. But I focus mostly on the quality of what I'm eating as opposed to when I'm eating. Yeah, that's enough. I think I feel like I'd be repeating myself because I'm a college teacher, so and I want people to be clear on what I'm talking about. I think I missed someone's question, but it's as simple as me going and seeing what you ask. I know sometimes it pops up a little bit slow, so, or can I see it from here? Okay. I'm waiting on questions. I know some of you have asked, but I'm trying to go back and see if I could go back and see what they are because I only have about another 5 minutes. Oh, thank you. The third point that I mentioned, because remember I mentioned remember, this goes to show how black and I'm from Detroit. I am. Remember the first two things I mentioned was the quality of your diet and the quality of your training. So meal prepping is a part of stress management. Plan to succeed, don't plan to fail. It makes no sense to meal prep or plan to meal prep if you're not going to follow your first mind. You're prepping. You have to force yourself. There's a scripture, and just the gist of it says, buying out the opportune time. You really need to be buying out the opportune time. Okay, I'll respond to that in a second. Buying out the opportune time means you really should be buying out the opportune time for spiritual things because the days are wicked. They are. It's bad out here. But that's a principle that you can follow with anything in your life. Make time for it. Don't make excuses. Make time for it. Put it in its proper perspective. You have priorities. We already know your most and foremost priority is your spiritual aspect of your life, your family, and definitely taking care of yourself. Those are the three most important things. And the spiritual aspect is taking care of yourself. So that's the very first thing anyway. So, yeah, the whole, what was the point I was going with that? Oh, meal prepping. Prep your meals. There's 3 options. You can prep for the full week, which I've stopped doing that because sometimes that makes me waste food. I've heard that from some of my clients that they have had that issue. So instead of me prepping for the entire week like I used to when I started off, now I prep daily or every 3 days. And then, you know, so that means Sunday and Wednesday are my prep days. And sometimes it's just every day. Like when I'm prepping when I'm making my first meal, I'm probably prepping my other meals for the rest of the day, or if not, for the next 2 days, and I'm good. Please eat the food that you make. Don't leave it in the refrigerator. It makes no sense to prep all that food and then you won't eat it. So make it easier for yourself by sticking to that. So buy out the time. Make it not an excuse. So someone said they had a question, or how do I feel about, what was it, amphetamine pills or something? Oh, there we are. I have not a lot of experience. I don't have any experience in using those pills, and I also don't have a lot of knowledge in that. So I honestly can't respond to that question on how I feel about it because I have no experience and I don't know anything about it. Okay, good question. So yeah, for the person that asked about the pills. Um, okay, makes it hard for me. So the weights. Let's answer that. It's popping up. Yay, it's popping up. So how do I respond to weights as simple as possible? Because I do everything based off how I feel. I'm not getting any younger. I'm getting older. So me trying to lift as heavy as I possibly can and without injury is irresponsible to me. For me, I don't know about everybody else. I'm not trying to be a power lifter. I'm not. Do I love that sport? Watching people in my gym do that? Heck yeah. Knowing that I can do 250 deadlift and squats is awesome. But would I do that on a regular basis? No, it's not me. So when it comes to weights, I would say high reps, low weight, low reps, high weight. So there's the 5-5 split, meaning you're doing 5 sets of 5 repetitions. In that case, that allows you to lift a lot heavier. And you do want to lift heavy enough where you can complete all 5, but the last 2 is a struggle. So you have to kind of constantly do it to see what weight works for you. And then you got to keep progressing to that. So don't stick to the same regimen in that sense. If you're going to use light weights, I would definitely say do high reps. High reps like 25. I think if you get past 25, something's up. You know, that weight is probably not good enough for you. You want to make it challenging enough where you can complete all 25, but at least the last 5 is a bit difficult to complete, but you can get through it. So that's my simplest way I can say about weights. High reps, moderate weight that's comfortable but a little challenging, and then the low reps, higher, you know, weight, go a little bit higher as you can, be able to complete 5, and the last 2 should feel like it's a struggle. That's my idea. That works. Okay. And yeah, somebody mentioned about feel like you have a slow metabolism because you're working an office job. You work for 7 hours in that time. I don't want to say it. I do a lot of moving around, and then somebody asked about pregnancy, so I'm gonna answer those is a twofold question. Um, One, let's get to the pregnancy. Congratulations that you find out that you're pregnant. Working out. I haven't had children of my own. I've had stepkids, but I don't have children of my own. So as far as your workout plan, there's a lot out there that you can find. There is plans out there all over Instagram, Pinterest, bodybuilding.com that works specifically for prenatal. There are also women that are on YouTube that I think I actually have two that's in my head right now, and I'm going to link them down below. But the plans that I do have are just as good for exercise. Exercise or training is training. Doesn't matter if you're pregnant or not. So well, it doesn't matter if you have a bum kneecap or you have one leg that doesn't work, or it does not matter. Working out or training your body is it. You put it to the max that you can. But it definitely means it's going to be on how you feel. So you don't have to do or work as hard. I guess my suggestion to you, if you're pregnant, if this was me and I found out that I was pregnant, I would probably go more into yoga and Pilates because it's less grueling on the body, I guess. But I know women who power lift and pregnant all the way up until their 8th month. And yeah, I'm about to put there because I'm going to link them down below. Yeah, I have a friend here. She was powerlifting all the way up until her 8th month, I believe. So do I have plans for that? The plans that I do have work for any and everybody. You just have to decide whether it works for you or not. Or as far as you have to put in the work. The moves are all the same. Squats are squats. Doesn't matter if you're doing hundreds of them or you can only do 5 because you got this baby in your stomach. So it's a workout. Doesn't matter. I don't really believe that there's specific workouts for whether you're pregnant or not pregnant. It's just, these are normal things that we do every day. We sit down, we walk, we jump, we pull things, we lift things. These are normal things. So that's it. And then someone was talking about working a desk job. So I will I will link that. Also for meal plans, keep it simple. I do have meal plans. The meal plans that I have, I don't want to say that they're specifically for pregnant people. They're for anybody. Eat healthy. You have another life in your body. Even if you didn't have another life in your body, you still want to eat healthy anyway. So they work specifically for human beings. That's what my programs are. And they work for specific diet styles. So I would definitely say talk with your doctor about a certain diet plan if they're saying that you probably shouldn't have this, because I know some people come into complications or may have something already, something that they already have as far as ailments are concerned, and you want to stay away from certain things while you're pregnant. Just pay attention to that. So talk with your doctor on that. But the programs are what they are. I keep them simple. You want to eat right. You want to train well. But if you're pregnant, just stick with yoga or Pilates because it looks sexier while you're pregnant. I've seen girls do it. And it's less grueling on the body as opposed to lifting, heavy and trying to do all these jumping jacks and stuff like that. So try that instead. But no, I don't have those kind of programs on there, but you just gave me an idea. Working a desk job, and you work a desk job for 8 hours and you can't get up. That's why I said this is a twofold question, because pregnancy probably going to feel like that after a while. But you feel like your metabolism is slow from that. Go back to the basics that I just mentioned. Plan your diet well, drink more water, and train. You work 8 hours, you sit down for 8 hours. I don't know what makes you think that I don't, because I do. The only time I really do get up to go and do stuff is when I go to the gym or if I have to run errands or stuff, but that's just normal everyday life. Other than the gym for me is normal everyday life, but that's the only time I get out and work out. But I'm sitting at home a lot of the times working with clients, answering questions, and editing videos. So I sit, but I get up. So if you are at a desk job, it should be easy for you to just stand up for a minute. Just stand up. I have a I have a watch, Apple Watch, and it reminds me to stand up. So if I've been sitting too long, it really will be like, you've been sitting too long, stand up, time to stand up. So invest in something that's going to, you don't have to get an Apple Watch if you don't want to. You can get something else, but something that's going to time it, or use your phone to time you to get up. But just get up every few minutes and just, I don't know, not pace, but just two-step right where you are. If you're working on something, like when I'm on the phone, I'm walking around in my house. So you are being a little bit active, even though you're sitting somewhere for 8 hours. If you're in a cubicle, you still can do it. Because I'm going to tell you, being in a cubicle is still an excuse. You still can do whatever you want to when you're in there. So every hour we should get up and move around. Thanks, Jamie. Thanks. Music chic or music chick. I was reading that. So I'll be back. Don't worry. 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on YouTube. So I'm trying to see if both will work for me or one or the other. I already know the AM is the best for me, but I do want to get my evening people. So if they're watching this, just know that Wednesday is the day for both, and that's what I'm going to see what I can do. Okay. Well, guys, it's about to be 45 minutes. I don't want these videos to be too long because I don't want people to get like pulled off. But yeah, okay, Lori, I know you like the 10 p.m. So I probably, yeah. But it's already set in stone for today for me to be on at 10 p.m. So I'm trying to work this out. So for those of you who, I hope I answered all of your questions. If not, and you can catch me at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today, that would be awesome. I can still answer those questions. Someone asked me, when am I coming to London? I have no idea when, because it requires me doing a WBFF competition, and I won't be doing the transformation division. I will be doing the Diva Fitness one, but it may not be in London. It'll probably be more so in Florida or Chicago, one of the two. But I do have a competition that I am working on trying to get involved in, and it is one of my pole fitness competitions. I'm going to be competing again for like the 7th time. And for my first NPC this year, it's going to be local. I'm going to try to do a local show for the NPC, and then I'm going to do another WBFF because I really do like that division. Or not division, but that. Well, yeah, that is it. But I like that federation, that organization a lot. But NPC seems to be what everybody sees my body type is because of just the way I appear. And I probably would do very well in NPC. But I'm going to try it for my first local show, and I'm going to do it this year. So that's 3 competitions that I have working on, that I'm going to be working on. So I am starting over. So I will see you guys this evening at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And yeah, I think I'm going to end this video on there. If you guys are interested in the 21-day challenge, check out my website. There's programs there. You can purchase the programs. They start at $5.99. I'm not expensive with it. If you have any questions or anything, you definitely can contact me through there. And I hope to see you guys, if not this evening, in next Wednesday's video. You guys have an awesome day. I'm about to go do some cardio in my gym. I'm about to go do some cardio in my gym. I'm so happy I have that. I have no excuse now. And that makes me happy. I love you guys. You have a good day.